Hello! Welcome to The Healing Artist. I'm your host, Frida, and friends, I have such a treat for you today. Dina Berrin is an intuitive guide, speaker, and coach who helps women reconnect to themselves through tarot, numerology, and symbolic tools that bring clarity to what they're already feeling but haven't been able to name. With over 20 years of experience, her work goes beyond prediction, guiding clients back to their own inner voice, especially in moments of transition, uncertainty, or quiet knowing that something is ready to change. She is the author of The Way Within, Igniting Your Intuition with Sacred Tools, and her work has supported thousands of clients in remembering that they are not lost. They are simply disconnected from their own wisdom. Hello, welcome to The Healing Artist. I'm so pleased to meet you and excited that you're here.
Thank you so much. It is so lovely to meet you and wonderful to be here with you as well.
Oh man, so gosh, you do a lot of things, have a lot of intuition. Where did it all begin for you? How did this journey start?
Well, my journey started when I was very young, actually, because I had a grandmother who was very interested in astrology. And she used to talk about people like they were their astrological signs.
Oh,
So she would be like, look at that Leo hogging the spotlight, or, look at that Pisces. She's so creative or, intuitive kind of thing. Like she would, and I would be like walking around with like a clipboard, taking notes, trying to be like, what does that mean? Or what did you mean? Like kind of trying to interpret her vision of people. So I have always been interested in what makes people tick. And my grandmother started that off kind of with a an early lesson in astrology. And but I have always been intuitive. I've been intuitive, like I remember being intuitive all through grade school, through high school, because when I was younger, I know that it may surprise people that know me now, but I used to be very shy.
mm.
And I used to be more on the sidelines than I was in the mix. Now I'm very chatty. But when I was younger, I was, probably always the last one picked for sports teams and, all this kind of stuff. So I did a lot of observing. I did a lot of
Mm.
watching. And I would start noticing people that when they were maybe in front of a group, they might act a certain way. But then when you were maybe one on one alone with them, they would be someone completely different. And it started me wondering, well, who are people really? Kind of thing. And then fast forward, I went to college and I came back to New York City after I graduated. And I have a degree in exercise physiology and I started working in fitness. And I first worked in corporate fitness, which was great because it was set hours and everything was very predictable and, very like a big Excel spreadsheet. And then I left that and I went to work in a hotel gym, a huge hotel here in New York City, where hotels are open 24 hours, 7 days a week. And the gym in the hotel was open 24 hours, 7 days a week. And it felt like I was working 24 hours, 7 days a week. And I felt as though if I did not find something to take me out of work, I was just going to literally die there.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that a lot of my staff would go and they'd leave early to go take a class. And I thought to myself, that's what I need to do. I need to
Mm.
find myself a class. And then one night, I should say, when I was leaving work late, I was waiting to cross the street and I saw a flyer for an introduction to tarot class. And I thought to myself, there's my class.
Cool.
And I signed up and I have not looked back ever since.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Oh, wow. Okay, so what did you love the most about tarot when you came to it?
Okay, so my tarot teacher, when I first walked into the classroom, she had such a presence about her and something magical, but also it was like a little bit intimidating. Like you knew that she knew her stuff. And the way she would just nail like something so well in class. I remember watching her teach and being mesmerized by her and thinking to myself, I want to be just like her.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, I am going to study this until I know it like she does, so I can read like she does. And that began my forever life as a student. I mean, I've always been a student of life, but I began to take classes. And so this first tarot teacher that I taught, who I loved very much, she used to teach in fits and starts. So she would teach for like 6 weeks and then take off 3, 4 months. And then
Mm.
she'd teach again for 6 weeks and then take off another 4, 5 months. So it was like stop and go and stop and go. And I was hungry. I
Mhm.
wanted to learn. And I thought to myself, this stop and go stuff, it's not working for me. I need to find another set of teachers who can teach me every week. So I did. I found a set of teachers that taught every Monday night. They taught from 6 to 9 on Monday nights. And unless like the world was coming to an end, I was in that seat at 6 p.m. And I was, if anybody was interested in having, I was never available on Monday night. And I went to their class, crazy as it may sound, for 8 years,
It doesn't
every
sound
Monday
crazy.
night.
Yeah.
And the reason why I could keep going, because every year they would teach the class differently. So this year
Mm.
we're teaching it through color. This year we're teaching it through numbers. This year we're teaching it through the titles of the cards, the functions of the cards, the astrological associations of the cards, the upright meaning, the reverse meaning. I knew how to get to this tarot card, the front door, the back door, the side door. I could tell you anything inside out, upside down. I know these cards. I joke around, but it's true. I speak 2 languages, English and tarot.
Yeah.
So this is kind of where it all started. So what my teacher originally started me on, I was able to fulfill with these 8 years of really knowing the deck. But then I realized that, well, all of the cards have numbers, which kind of led me off to like a little
Ah.
adjacent situation with numerology. And then all of the cards have astrological associations, which then brought me back to my first love that my grandmother introduced me to, astrology. So, and then there's color, and then there's symbols. So all of these things that you may study separately all exist within the tarot deck. So even though I may have begun to study other things within this magical, little box of divination, all of it connects together. It's like one big Venn diagram.
Yes. Oh my God. I can just feel your energy and feel the passion around the tarot and the lighting up, how lit up you are about it. It's just, it feels so amazing. I love that so much too, because it is finding the gift, it's finding the passion. And then I just want to highlight for the listeners, then you practice.
Yes. But the practice is everything. I mean, that is
Yes.
how you get better. I feel as though
Yes.
the practice, it's like when you go to the gym to build a muscle. You
Yes.
don't go to the gym once, pick up weights once, and then have like amazing Popeye biceps. You have to consistently do it. And to remain strong, you have to keep doing it. So to this day, I still pull a tarot card every morning. I
Mm.
still sit with it. And sometimes I write about it. And sometimes I even feel inspired to post about it because I feel as though the messages are so relevant
Hmm.
still.
Yes.
And the tarot is, it's the book of our lives. These are the stories of our lives. And I feel as though if you know how to interpret them, if you know how to enter the card and find a message within there, you have your own beautiful garden of opportunity right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious, what is your personal tarot card?
My personal tarot card is the Hierophant.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny, in my original tarot teacher who taught the stop and go way, she taught with a deck called the Mythic Tarot.
Okay.
And the Mythic Tarot was a deck that was filled with mythology, Greek
Ooh,
mythology.
yeah.
And so the image on the Hierophant in that deck was a was Chiron. It was the half man, half beast. And Chiron, who I later came into contact again with through the realm of astrology. But
Hmm.
Chiron is what we call the wounded healer. And it's like where you are wounded is where you are most eligible, where you're most able to teach. You are most able because you have the most compassion and the most wisdom and the most experience. So it's just so interesting that my card was the wounded healer. And then when I switched to the deck that I learned with my other teachers, I was switched to the universal weight deck, which was the more traditional deck. And then I got, a card that looked like the Pope. But I don't really see the Hierophant so much as religion as I do about education.
Yeah, and leadership and through education. Yeah. Very
Yeah, very
cool. I
much.
love that. Mine is the Hanged Man, which always just cracks me
Oh,
up. It's
how do you like the card as your own?
I love it. Yeah.
What do you love? I have to ask, what do you love about the Hangman?
Because it is just all about shifting one's perspective. It's about thinking outside of the box. And I'm such a journey person. I do not mind the journey. I do not mind climbing the hills. And I don't mind the slow path because it's all about the path. This is our life right now. And I'm okay when I'm stuck to just turn upside down to like look at it differently. And whatever time it takes to do that, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But our society teaches us that it should be like faster, faster. And like to me, that card, I come back to that and it helps me remember to just pause and pause before responding and allow myself to be okay in the moment. Like and really walk through the chambers of what is this moment and just be pause and be just shift the perspective.
Absolutely. I mean, and the hangman, I think about like what season are you in
Mm,
in your life right now? So sometimes we are in a season of let's go into turbo gear and let's like shoot off like a rocket. And then sometimes we need to shift down to a slower or even um, like unmoving. I'm trying to think, sometimes you just have to tread water.
right, like that
And
fallow ground will then create.
yes, and the moment is what is the learning
Mhm.
while you are, treading water? What is this moment of inaction? What
Mhm.
is the learning? And maybe sometimes it's to ground yourself and to realize that you don't always have to be in action to
Mhm.
be learning, to be
Yeah.
changing, to be growing.
Yeah, and that there's so much wisdom in that silence and so much just in the pause. There. Also, I think that that's actually one of my biggest life lessons, to be honest, like that core wounding type shit is like I don't have to do more.
Yeah.
I just get to be.
Yeah, and
But then
but sometimes
fully
we forget
learning.
that. But
Oh
sometimes we
yeah.
forget that. So you do more, and when
Mhm.
you do more, you're like, why the heck am I doing more? You have to,
Mhm.
but sometimes we need to catch ourselves
Oh yeah.
in those moments in order to be like, light bulb.
So it's a good card for me.
That's great. It's a perfect card for you.
Oh man. What kind of information would you like to share with the listeners around how they could most come to themselves with the tarot?
Well, I think that, first of all, if you want to work with the tarot, it's important for you to find a deck that
Mm.
speaks to you. And I know that there's a myth out there that says that someone has to gift you a deck in order for you to use it or whatever. And honestly, I call BS on that. I don't think that you need to be gifted a deck. I think that you can be the giver of the gift of the tarot and go on a site that has a lot of decks and see what speaks to you. I mean, at this time, there are so many decks out there. I mean, I have a friend of mine whose birthday is October 31st, and there's a Halloween tarot deck. And I have to tell you, I'm a really good tarot reader. I mean, I can read tarot with the best of them, but I have no idea how this Halloween tarot deck works.
Mm.
When I'm with her and she pulls out that deck and she starts throwing cards, I was like, girlfriend, I have no idea what's going on here. But it speaks to her, which is all that matters if she's going to be the one that's reading it.
Yeah.
So find a deck. I used to have an Alice in Wonderland deck. I actually got that for my daughter. And somebody once gifted me the baseball tarot, which once again doesn't really, it's not my language. But for somebody who's really into baseball, it would be a perfect deck for you to start with. So find a deck that works for you and then start leafing through it. Just start paying attention to the pictures. What are you noticing? And because I feel as though people can get very overwhelmed. So a traditional tarot deck has 78 cards. And people think, oh my God, I have to remember the meanings of 78 cards. And then sometimes people read reversals. So then you have to remember a whole other 78 cards. And then you're like, I'm dead. I can't. So what I would say is start picking out what you notice in the card and asking, what does that mean for you? Like maybe you notice a lot of yellow in the card. Yellow to me is about clarity. It's about focus. It's about intention. So then where is the yellow leading you? What should you be getting clear on? What should you be focusing or getting intent on right now? Or maybe you see a tree in the card, and a tree to me is about rootedness, getting rooted. So maybe you're feeling a little bit like you're, kind of drifting. And is there something that maybe you could connect yourself or root yourself to so you feel as though you're more foundational, or feeling as though you have a platform that's more solid to stand on in your life? So, what is it that your eyes are drawn to? And what does that thing that you've been drawn to speak to you as? What does it say to you? So, yes, there are traditional meanings of the cards. However, you do not need to know all of those in order to do readings for yourself. And once again, if you do not feel drawn to a tarot deck, there are oracle decks. There
Mhm.
are Lenormand decks. There are many different types of decks, but I want everyone to know that there is not only one way to read the cards. And because there is like no one course, it's like if you're going to be a lawyer, you have to go to law school, and there's certain classes you need to take. And, there's things that you just need to know in order to be a lawyer. But tarot doesn't work that way. There is a less traditional path. Like I know people that have never taken a class, that have only done it on their own instincts and knowledge and maybe their family lineage. And then I know people that have read tons of books but never taken a class. And then there's me that's done nothing but take classes for, the past 25 years. And I'll sign up for a class today or tomorrow because I just love being in a class. And I feel
Mhm.
as though whether I'm the teacher or I'm a student in the class, there's always something new to learn.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Um, yeah.
And it's a very special connection. And when you are ready, I feel as though, that saying, it's like when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yeah.
And if it does not feel like the right time, then follow a different path. Like you can circle back to this. Maybe you should start with meditation. Maybe you should start with journaling. Maybe you should start with just connecting with nature and going on walks where you don't put anything in your ears and you're just sitting with the silence of it all.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but then answering the call if it should arise, like looking
Yeah.
looking into it if it seems like something you'd want to go towards. This is very great. I love it. Now, do you teach tarot?
I do. I do. I'm not teaching a class right now, but I do offer classes on my site. So there are like smaller classes, like evergreen type classes that you can take. That some of them are about numerology, some are of them are intro to tarot, and every now and again I do offer classes, and depending on kind of like if there is a something that specifically feels calling to me right now, or if, like, for example, at the beginning of the year, I taught a class on numerology. We're in a universal 1 year. So I wanted to explain what that is. So, the collective, all of us could operate to have the most successful experience within the energy of this year.
The energy right now is incredibly interesting.
Yes, it is a little bit wonky. There is a lot going on.
Yeah.
And so tell me about interesting. What are you experiencing?
I'm kind I do extremely well in chaos because I am incredibly grounded and the energy is chaotic. And I feel like this is a moment when I kind of get to shine because I am so just like, I do my practice. I get in and I root. But I also recognize the fact that I'm like, wow,
So tell me about like what do you feel the upsides of the chaos are?
I have this innate knowing that this is what we have been this moment is so special. It's what we've been trading for lifetimes. We are all well equipped to show up and shine and anchor our light. I know that the light is already won. Like I can feel that deeply inside of myself, and I know that we are just bearing witness to the fall of the patriarchy. It's just we are in the shifting moment of time, and it looks unbearable, and the things that are happening, there is deep suffering. And simultaneously, I am excited. I feel this incredible wellspring of new beginnings and want to be part of creating a new way of being here on earth, a new way of existing with one another, welcoming in this sort of unity consciousness that's on the horizon. And more people are waking up every day. And it's just such an exciting moment to be alive. So honoring that and loving it, and simultaneously recognizing that there is great suffering, and where can I help?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's wild, I guess is the one I mean. I don't know.
Yeah. And I feel that uncertainty is a
Uncertain.
gift,
Yeah, it's uncertain.
but uncertainty is a gift because in my experience, many of us, and I lump myself in this category as well, are creatures of habit.
Mm.
And we do some of our life, we live some of our lives, many of us live a lot of our lives on autopilot. And we are, to me, like autopilot equals life in black and white. Like I feel as though I mean, I live in New York City. It's a big walking city, and I see people with their cell phones in their hands, with their face down to their phone, like they are missing out on the world. And the world is just passing a lot of people by. And by being messy, by being uncertain, by being, unsure of like, is your next step going to be a steady one? It's requiring people to pick their heads up. It's requiring people to do something outside of their comfort zone because the traditional actions that they have been taking are not really fitting the time that we're in.
Yes.
So I'm looking at this time as an opportunity to break out of your mold and start becoming what I call your future self, which is that version of you that you're always, kind of moving towards. And like your future self is doing all the things that you want to be doing. But, and I always say, like, how do you become your future self? Well, you start talking like your future self, you start walking like your future self, you start acting like your future self. And the next thing you know, boom, that's who you are. And
Yes.
then you can move that little like point forward and then recreate a new version of what your future self looks like. So I saw
Yes.
you nodding your head. So come on, give it to
I
me, Frida. What
love
do you
it. I
got?
just love it. Oh, I love it. All of that. People are being invited to engage with their own lives. And it's at this
Yes,
crucible moment where it's like, you got to do it whether you want to or not.
which is scary. And I
Right.
think that a lot of people are moving forward in fear.
Yes, very much so.
And, I've always been a believer that either we come to a situation through a place of love
Mhm.
or from a place of fear.
Yeah.
And when you come to it from fear, everything is like it's guarded, it's shrunk, you're making yourself small, you're trying not to take up too much space, make too much noise, be judged. It's a completely different experience than showing up with your full heart.
Mhm.
And so what I invite everyone, your podcast listeners, everyone to do is to think about how are you showing up in this moment of uncertainty? And if you find yourself playing small, what is one small thing you can do to shift the energy?
Mhm. Yeah.
And once again, I'm not saying that it's going to be rainbows and unicorns. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, but it will be worth it.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a believing that the juice is going to be worth the squeeze, which it absolutely is.
Yeah, and listen, I understand that people also can feel very stuck and disconnected in in this moment. And what I want to say to that is that you're just out of practice.
Right. There's an invitation to return home to oneself also, because I think that generally a lot of folks give their power away. And like you mentioned, you're walking down the street and you're seeing a lot of people looking at their phone. Like, what are you listening to? What are you watching? What do you engage with? And what information is coming into your frequency and awareness that is then sort of like shaping the way that you're viewing the world or walking through it? And sort of
Yes.
like you had talked about earlier, walking in the woods silently. Can you use nature as a technology to then come home to yourself so that you can hear better? Because that's where that open-hearted, like that's where that invitation to become more open-hearted and meet the world in that way comes from, as opposed to, I can't imagine actually seeing it through any other lens if you're really clued into the news or looking at a lot of social media or watching a lot of TikTok videos that are just conspiracy theories and scary stuff. It's like, how can you see anything outside of a constricted heart? But
Right.
like,
And
yeah.
I really feel like also what happens is when you're listening to these TikToks and these other videos and things like that, I think that you subscribe to a certain way of thinking. And then you worry that, like, well, oh, if everybody's thinking this way and I don't think this way, well, are they going to judge me? Are they going to exclude me? Are they going to make me feel like I'm, somebody that glows green and has three heads or whatever? Like, you don't, and I do feel like from a young age, we are kind of groomed to want to fit in.
Mm,
And at a certain point, I feel like that's great while you're like in grade school and in high school and things like that. But as you move towards, adulthood and onward, not everybody's looking to be the same. And so then the question comes, and not everybody is asking themselves this question, but the question is like, do I want this? Like, is this way of thinking, is this way of moving through the world and living, with my shoulders up at my ears and feeling fear and intimidation and whatever else you're feeling, is that what I want? And I'm not saying that you have to give yourself a yes or a no, but just notice, how does it feel in your body? Because your body gives you answers if you pay attention.
yes. That's actually beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, because I feel like that's actually what's come through my channel for the last several months is it's all about writing the Bible of our bodies and listening to our bodies. And it's like right now, because there's so much chaos, the answer is in the body. So then paying attention to how does it feel and what are we putting into it, and then reading the body because that's the closest thing we have to ourselves, right?
Yeah, I mean, I call this the art of noticing.
Yes, yeah.
And it really is an art. And as you practice it, there's that word again,
Yeah.
you get better at it.
I know. I feel like people think that like it's like the dead zone or something. You just like get in a car accident and then you just wake up psychic and everything changes and your life is totally different. And it's like, no, no, no. This is a trade, like becoming a really great woodworker or becoming a really great at any kind of trade, hairdresser, anything. You show up to
Yeah.
it over and over and over and over and practice and practice and practice and practice. Yeah.
Exactly. I say the same thing. It's like, how do you become better at anything? Like, how do you become a better cook? Well, you got to burn a few dinners, and then
Yes.
you're like, oh, the oven was too high, or I shouldn't have included that ingredient, or whatever it is. Like, how do you become a better writer? You got to write a few not so great pieces of, you know,
Yep.
of correspondence before it gets better. All the things, everything, life in general is a practice.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're at that squeeze point where it's no longer like it's sort of like non-negotiable whether or not you want to do it. It's like that's what it feels like. You can speak more to this, but the astrology is sharing with us. And now we all do it, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, well, and yes, I do think that you like it gets to a point where there really is no choice. Like, and it makes me think of the judgment card. The judgment card is saying change is coming. It's not saying, would you like to change? It's saying, change is coming, and you can do this easy, and you can come along and not resist, or you can do this hard. You can dig your feet in, and change will just drag you, but you will change. And how much easier would it be if you just like, you know what? Let me roll down the window and take in, the countryside. Let me take advantage of this. And I really also feel as though your community and the support around you is very important because, as you're mentioning, people are going through this wonky time. They're going through this uncertainty. They're feeling very uneasy. They don't know if the ground beneath them is solid. And, just like when we went through COVID, I remember my kids were like, when is this going to end? I'm the adult in the room and they're asking me, when is this going to end? And honestly, I had no idea. I mean, they could ask me, is this going to be okay? I mean, I hope so. But like, once again, the world has never gone through anything like this. So I don't have any guarantee that that will be the case, but I'm going to act as if. That's another little way that I work. I'm like, I act as if this thing that I want is true. And then we just operate underneath that way of thinking.
Yeah.
And if you could find yourself not alone, but in a community, like the right kind of community where you feel like you can share your ideas with people that will listen and without rushing to fix or judge you, just that could make all the difference. So maybe it's time, not only like as we feel like we're going through a lot of changes, like what are some of the changes, and this is like to every individual person, like what are the things that you realize that you've known for a long time that are just not working? But like I think of like a situation where like you ever have a pair of old sneakers that you love so much and they feel like a pair of slippers because they have your perfect little footprint in them, but maybe you have worn them so much there's like a little hole in the bottom of them. And every time you wear them and it rains, your foot gets a little bit wet. And you're like, "Oh, I need to go out and buy new sneakers." So you go out and buy new sneakers, but the new sneakers, they're just not as comfortable as the old ones. So you continue to wear the old sneakers, but every time it rains, your foot keeps getting wet. So it's like it's time to be like, okay, these old sneakers were once the new sneakers. And if I could just wear these new sneakers, then maybe they'll be as comfortable as the ones that no longer deserve to be worn because my foot keeps getting wet, kind of thing. And that's kind of where we are. Like if you could be, build an inner circle of a handful of people that help you remember who you are, not who you're supposed to be, but who you truly are, it can really support you and help you get through this time, not only as like surviving, but actually thriving.
Yes. Oh, I love that story so much. It's so fun. I love the new shoes. And now, if people are seeking that community and they're unsure where to find them, what would you suggest that they move towards in order to be looking for their um that
Well,
spark?
I am a big, I mean, feel as though like I love to take a class. I always meet interesting people in class, but I also feel like there are meetups. I mean, I enjoy meditation, so I sign myself up for meditation. And once again, I am on the chattier side, unlike I was when I was younger, very shy. But I feel as though I could talk to pretty much anyone. And people, I do feel like are in a place that they are looking to connect. And like when you go to a meditation class, when you go to a class where you're looking to improve yourself or become, more connected, whatever those topics are, there are people that are seeking the same things that you are.
Mhm.
So I would seek community in the things that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Just start going out. Like I always joke around and say, you know what? You already know everybody in your living room. Nobody new showing up there. So what you need to do is you need to leave your regular ways that you operate in the world and go places that you don't usually go to meet people that you don't usually meet. And that is where new connections form. And that is where we find pieces of ourselves that we didn't realize were just waiting latent inside of us to become, our next planted seed.
I love it. Yes, I think that's beautiful. Yeah, following our bliss. What is the thing that lights us up and then moving towards engaging circles and like there you're going to find some new folks. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm a big believer that, if you make an effort, it's almost like the momentum starts, and then everything kind of picks up from there. Like if you are just willing to take that one step and then
Mhm.
tomorrow take another
Mhm.
step, you don't have to do something huge,
Yeah.
but do something meaningful.
We're breaking in the shoes.
We're breaking in those shoes. Yes.
One
That's
little walk
true.
at a time. You don't have to wear the full in, but yeah.
Yeah. And clarity comes from action, not just thinking. So like once you take that step, I'm trying to think, it was like there's a saying that someone said to me. It's like thoughts come while your feet are moving, like something to that effect. And I think that's really true.
And it's okay to try stuff too and then realize that you don't like it because also like that's also information in terms of like
Well, absolutely. And that's why it's so important to show up authentically. I mean,
Mhm.
these opportunities open up when you show up as the most authentic version of you. So don't underestimate the value of being true to yourself
Yeah.
and saying no when it's not.
Yeah. Oh, this is just all such incredibly wise, good, wonderful information. Thank you so much for
Oh,
sharing.
of course, of course. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to hear like about your experience with this. Like, and like, so how do you broaden your community?
Well, I actually I joined a chalice circle from the Unitarian Universalists Church of Berkeley. I ended up joining a chalice circle and met a bunch of beautiful souls through that experience where it's about deep listening and deep sharing. And that was sort of like a doorway to learn some different stuff, also about different generations, because most of the women in the group are in their 70s and 80s, which is beautiful for
Wow.
me to like feel out different women's experiences like through the ages and really get to honor how much choice and freedom I have. It's
Yeah,
pretty
and it's like
beautiful.
she has, I'm sure these women have so much knowledge. It's like when else would you ever have the opportunity
Yeah.
to cross paths with these women, these
Yeah.
magical
Yeah.
women that have so much to share?
And now
That's
we're
just
friends,
unbelievable to
and now I
me.
have all these friends. It's fabulous. I absolutely love it. And then also Zumba is something that I really enjoy, like communal dancing. And you just have to keep going. And bit after bit, it's like, oh hi, oh hi, oh
Yeah,
hi.
these are the things that bring joy, and
Yeah.
that's what you're doing. You're just looking to bring joy.
Yeah, sparking joy and moving towards that. I would love to hear a little bit more about your book, The
Sure.
Way Within, Igniting Your Intuition with Sacred Tools.
Yeah. Well, what I did is I wrote the book that I wish had been written
Mm.
when I maybe first started this whole adventure we call life. And what I did is the three, so what I said is, the way within. So this is the way to you. This is how you find out about you. And what I did is I talked about three modalities. So I spoke about tarot, I spoke about numerology, and I spoke about charms. Charms are my own little divination system. I created my own little charm kits, and I'm happy to show these to you as well. But this is like the idea of working with symbolism. As I was mentioning to you, like what does a
Yes.
tree mean? What does, a bird mean, or things like that.
Yes.
And what I did is in my book, I told some stories of, how I got into tarot. And then this is for beginners, this is for intermediate, this is for anybody that is interested in learning new ways and easy ways to make connections with the cards. And each chapter, I end with some notes like for growth and some things to consider. So I just share with you ways for you to begin. And what I did also is I wrote up handouts and I recorded some videos. So throughout my book, I have like QR code, and you can just, go to the QR code and it will take you to all of my free resources. So
Beautiful.
you can, if you want more information, I have a document on that. And I really wanted to give people an all-inclusive way for you to start that leaves you without questions. And if you do have any questions, I love an email. I love when people reach out to me. They give me their experience. I am a huge cheerleader. I love hearing people's stories. And I just want people to see the possibilities and experience themselves in a way, because what tarot and numerology gave me, like it's changed my life. And I don't know if people understand. Like I know that a lot of people are watching TikTok and they're seeing, little snippets of what this is, but there are so many ways for you to work with the cards. There are so many ways for you to access information. And if you know how to do it and you know where to go, it like it really it gave me confirmation of my life purpose. It gave me
Mm.
the reason, like knowing my strengths, my challenges, my lessons, why I'm here and what I'm meant to do. Like it gave me the confidence to leave a corporate job after I worked there for quite a long time and take the leap and do exactly this work that I love to do.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I love it.
Yeah,
Well, can you pull a charm for the listeners of The Healing Artist? Because
I
I'm
would
so
love to do
excited to
that.
see that. Oh, you
So,
held up
as
that
I
little box,
mentioned,
and I was like, "What is it? I
yes.
want to see it."
So I'm just going to show you. So in my little box, and I can show you one or two charms before I pick it. So like just to give you an example, what's in here? This is a ladder. So like everything in my box, everything in my little charm kit are things you've seen before. Okay, this I'll show you three charms total, and then we'll pull one. This is an octopus,
Yes.
and then I'll go one more. This is a like a masquerade
Mhm.
mask. Okay. So how the charms work is I don't look in my little charm dish and be like, "Oh, what charm should I pick for you?" What I do is I look the other way and so I don't pick the charm picks me. So I see that you're rubbing your heart and that you're okay. Oh, very nice. Okay. So you got a very simple charm. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me, what do you see?
I see a moon.
Yes, a crescent moon.
Hmm.
So how the charms work is that I ask you four questions. So what we're going to do is we'll do the four questions together. And usually when I do a reading for someone, I usually just I kind of add to it a little bit if it seems worth like needed to have something extra added. But mostly it comes from you. Okay, so the first question you answered, it's what is this item? It's a moon. So the second question is I would like for you to tell me. So imagine I've never seen the moon. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it does. And I don't know its purpose, use, or function in the world. And of all the people in the world, Frida, you have been chosen to explain to me what the moon is. So when I'm done talking to you, I will understand it. And there's no perfect way to do this. Like whatever you say, it works. So how would you describe the moon to me?
I would describe the moon as a divine feminine energy. This it helps and dictates the cycles of water as water moves on Earth. It is a beautiful planet in the sky that works in conjunction with the sun and helps regulate our 24-hour period of time, depending on where it is in the sky at any point, and helps us live our time cycle on Earth.
Oh, I love that. That's perfect. Okay, so now's the next question. Just go with it. Answer whatever comes to mind. How, Frida, are you personally like the moon?
Mm. Deeply connected to the water and the tides, and deeply connected to following my inner compass and clock, depending on the cycles and honoring the cycles, much like the moon
Lovely.
is. Yeah.
Love it. And so my last question is, imagine that the moon could speak. And it came here today to our reading, specifically because it has a message for you, a very personal, very important, specific message to give you. What is it that the moon wants you to know?
I see you the same way as you see me.
I love that. Wow.
As in,
I
sometimes
see.
it's hidden, sometimes it's very bright, sometimes it's.
Yeah. And what I want is like, so that little message, I see you. So, you know how like you end a meal with like a little, sometimes a Chinese dinner with a fortune cookie and it
Mhm.
comes with a little message in it. And that's it. Like, so the moon is, and so I'll just add to that message, for the reader, for the listeners and saying that, the moon sees your heart. The
Mm,
moon sees the truest version of you, and it wants the best for you. And it wants you to feel the same way.
mm.
So it's showing up with a lot of love. So that's what a charm reading is. We pull a an item, like a just an individual image from the world that we've seen, and we get a little message. So
Oh,
that's what the
fun.
message of the moon had to share with you. Yeah. And I actually I sell my charm kits. I sell them because and I also offer charm classes there because it's a really easy and simple, popular way and fun way. Like you can put this in your, like you can throw this in your pocketbook and go out with your girlfriends. Everyone's always like, did you bring your charms? Did you bring your charms? I'm always doing charm readings for people because it's honestly the most fun. It's like, how do you get to know people from the answers they give you from their charms? It's really great.
We're going to have a link in the show notes to get these charms, and I'm definitely going to order some because I think that's about the cutest gift to give. Like, that's so cute.
Oh,
I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it.
thank you.
Dina, this has been a total pleasure. It is a delight to meet you, and
It was so lovely to meet
yeah,
you.
thank you so much for spending time with us. And
Oh, my
yeah,
pleasure. I thank you so much for having me. And I really hope that everyone found value in our conversation and feels inspired to take their next steps. You know, we're all going through it and we all need to be here to support each other.
yeah,
So if you want to connect with me, you know where to find me. You can check out my website. Everything is my name.
perfect. Yeah, and will be all that information is in the show notes below. Dina, thank you so much. I wanted to tell you that I love you.
Thank you, Frida. I feel the same. I feel the same about you.
God, universe, source loves you, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.
Thank you.